And it looks like they were living in a very conformist world in the 1940s, where, people would always pick the same name for their children. And I never dated any Linda, but it's not because of my genes. It might be because I'm French, So that's a simple fact. And so when you read that story, and as kids, the two of them had a dog named Toy. When you read that with a little bit of, training in data science and spurious correlation, you start to realize that there's something off with the experiment. It looks like it was not completely randomized. So your natural experiment is just something about the social background of suburban Ohio in the 1940s, which is interesting in itself, but it's not what you want to prove. Now, that's interesting because it's actually on a more philosophical, epistemological perspective, the whole story about twins reared apart is very typical of the pre-replication crisis psychology, where people were moving into quantitative science, but coming from, I would say, a more literary perspective on things, where stories were more important. And I think that the lack of statistical training, advanced statistical training, of most scientists of that time. They accepted p-value 5% as a viable criterion for truth, which is not, as we know now, is probably very important in the way the story developed and becomes serious.